Broadcasting live from the New Creations Weight Loss Studio in Little Rock, it's Crime Chronicle Live with your host, Val Emmons.
Hello, guys out there listening on this lovely Saturday afternoon. Val's back. Thanks to everybody for tuning in last week to listen to Daniel. I had to take a little mini vacation with my children. We have to do that from time to time. And so we're going to get right to it because I have a lot to talk about. Right now, I want to talk about these 3D guns. Okay, so last month, the State Department ordered a site to take down the weapon design for a 3D gun. There was a post video of showing a shooting of all plastic gun made on an $8,000 3D printer. So these pistols cannot be detected by metal detectors. They are all plastic except for one little pin that you use a nail with. And I've got a expert on 3D printing on the line with us right now. However, just note that he's not an expert on the guns themselves, but he is going to talk a little bit about the regulations. We're going to keep his identity anonymous for the time being because he is a instructor at one of the Central Arkansas community colleges. So, Joe, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I know you're spending some quality time with your children today as well. Thank you
the weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in. And I've invited you because I want to talk about these 3D printers that we've been hearing about in the media more frequently. And a lot of folks may not understand the process. So can you tell me and the listeners a little bit about how it's different, like different from injection molding? We'll start there.
Well, the students have to draw in the computer on a CAD software, and then it is sent to this printer as an outsource, just like we would a piece of paper. It prints in the 3D instead of, as you say, a 2D piece of paper drawing.
Right. Okay. Because, see, whenever I first heard of that, the words 3D and printer and then gun, I was baffled by it. So can you easily manufacture things with a 3D printer? I mean, is it easy?
It I think was originated to do a prototype machine to where companies would make a gear or some item that they have with their company instead of sending to the CNC machine and doing it out of metal.
Right.
It was easier to build this prototype piece out of plastic. Way more cheaper, easier to fix and alter before you send to the cost of the metals that you would do trial and error fitting out of a CNC machine.
Okay. So I saw one of those printers, and it's pretty neat technology. I saw some of the things that were made with it. But so what are the state regulations regarding 3D printing of a gun? I know you and I had a side conversation. We were talking about you can't just make these.
Yes, ma'am. That's regulated. Any item of that can't be made. Kind of the verbiage of guns you can't produce or touch, make, bring any of that to any of the schools that are regulated. And it's kind of it's more regulated by the ATF and the other folks of what can and can't be produced that way.
And so if I were, say I was a student of yours at the college and I wanted to create one, what would your response to me be?
It can't happen.
And
it can't happen. I mean, there's just you could go to work for one of the companies outside of a state institution. You can't do it.
But
one, you would be drawing this in my classroom, which I would see it before it actually went to we have ours set to where we have one certain station that actually sends the information to the 3D machine because it's pretty costly. The material that is used to make the item is pretty costly.
That was my next question.
We regulate it to a station that the instructor base has to sign on, and that way I regulate what is actually going to this printer.
Okay, so how much does one of these printers cost?
Originally, they were probably $50,000, $60,000. now. I think they're in the neighborhood of a large one would be probably 3,000.
Wow.
You can get some of the smaller ones, that'll make up a 3-4 inch square cubicle object for probably 1,500.
Yeah, because I've seen those on the Sky Miles magazine on American Airlines. I've seen those. You can buy them right there. That's crazy.
Right.
And so the materials, are they and you said they're not cheap, but are they easy to get a hold of, or what do they keep track
As far as
of them?
the materials, you just order from the company that supplies the machine. They're mostly an ABS plastic. It is a plastic polymer material.
Right. Well, there's some things. So, do you know much about the guns? Have you ever seen anyone make one legally?
No, I mean, you hear about them. You see about the things on TV that you see that folks are making them, or you hear about the stuff on the internet where folks are talking about making them, which is illegal. You can't produce unless you have a manufacturer's permit for the ATF to make
any kind of gun, right?
Right.
So it'd be the same regulations for, say.
Right. It would be. I would think that it would be controlled by the same thing as any manufacturer company.
Right. But the thing about this is that when the State Department ordered this taken down, they were claiming it was like a import-export issue. Like it wasn't, the fact that people had this, but they're saying that other people overseas could get a hold of this and make it, which is kind of silly. But
I wouldn't think that all the 3D printers some of them are probably produced over in Japan, and any manufacturer, any country would probably be able to order any of these.
Yeah.
So it's not and the things that you could probably produce out of those, I wouldn't think that would be a very durable,
Yeah.
Guns couldn't be shot. I wouldn't think that they can be shot out of the plastic of these. Probably one time maybe, but the plastic, is going to come apart.
Right. Well, that's what I read in all my research. I read that they're not dependable, and they are known to catastrophically backfire, which means that the bullet comes at you instead of going forward, obviously. But then I've also read that they're only good for one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I think that these would be used like airplanes, because they can't be, if depending on the kind of metal that you use, it wouldn't be detected in a metal detector. So, but if you went through a scanner, it would obviously be shown. But so they're all plastic. So that would be
I'm sure, as you and I kind of discussed before, people can make bad things out of any kind of good thing that technology to help students and companies to produce a 3D object versus saving cost out of metals.
right.
And then people can take something good and turn something bad out of it.
Out of anything, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a terrible thing that is, once again, something that is a good thing that is turned one person produces something bad out of it, and it kind of throws an eyesore for all the ones that are doing real good work out of it.
Right. Like, what are some of the things that you guys produce? You don't have to give anything away that would be just to your college.
Tools are produced out of it. Gears. We've made several gears for companies that have a trial and error fit. A fellow that was making a patent that he was working on, he had to get a gear ratio right. We made several different gears for him to get the ratio correct to do what it needed to do.
Because it's sort of a testing, right? I mean, you can.
Yes, a test. For,
when you take the plastic and you make something, can you use it? Can you use it again if it's not right?
We can't do the plastic can be recycled. It can be ground up and used. Some of the newer machines, I've read the research on them that they can take and grind that plastic back into powder, and it can be put back because it uses a powder melting process. Ours uses more of a weed eater string type melting.
Okay.
It melts it down to very, very small, and it builds that liquid plastic instead of the new ones some of them take a powder plastic and hit it with a laser beam that melts this plastic together.
Wow. This is why I wanted to have you on, because a lot of people that I talk to are like, I don't get it. I don't understand what they mean about 3D guns, 3D printing. And this is the new technology for the day right now, and it's
well,
only
if you think about all of your sunglasses, plastic sunglasses, that is how they're made. Out of a molding, the same type machine. We can make a pair of sunglass frames, same type, same plastic, and you snap the lenses in them and you put them on your head and wear them.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming on, Joe, and sharing all that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we take a break?
No, ma'am. I guess that's about it.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and you have a great afternoon with your kids.
You too.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, this is Val Emmons. Do you have a business? Are you part of a nonprofit? Do you want to reach tens of thousands of loyal and informed consumers? Well, advertising on this radio show is more effective and affordable than you could ever imagine. Please call me 870-897-7716 or email me ccvalemmons@gmail.com to learn how you can have your business or organization's message heard on Crime Chronicle Live. That number again is 870-897-7716. Give me a call today.
Ladies, when was the last time you were happy with your body? If you're like most women, it was before you turned 40. That's because age 40 is when hormonal imbalance starts causing symptoms like hot flashes, sleeplessness, low energy, irritability, and lack of sexual desire. Now we have Amberen. Amberen is clinically shown to balance hormones and relieve the uncomfortable symptoms of menopause. Right now, you can receive a guaranteed risk-free trial of Amberen with a 30-day supply free. Call now at 1-800-417-1738. That's 1-800-417-1738.
Now's the time.
Now's the time to make a difference.
Now's the time to take a stand.
To get involved.
To make a change.
Now's the time to raise a hammer and drive a nail.
To build a wall.
And open a door to a new life.
Now's the time to help Habitat for Humanity build hope and change lives with a family in your community or around the world.
Now's the time.
Now, more than ever, help build it.
Visit Habitat.org.
Don's Weaponry has been taking care of sportsmen for over 20 years. At Don's, you have a huge selection of new and used pistols and rifles, police trade-ins, holsters, scopes, ammo, reloading supplies, magazines, and more. 6,000 square feet of inventory, including a 7-lane pistol range open 7 days a week. Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Ruger, Kimber, Springfield Armory, Glock, Walther, and more. Stop by Don's Weaponry, 4116 East Broadway in Rose City for everything the hunter and shooter needs.
Mom, I had the best dream.
Well, good morning to you, too.
Okay, so I was a knight. I had a sword, and our house was a castle. There was this angry dragon. It was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah?
But I protected the castle.
Oh, that's my brave little man. I'm glad our castle is safe.
Your home is your castle, and sometimes you need help defending it. The National Association of Realtors supports maintaining homeowner tax incentives because they make home ownership more affordable for more families. Learn more at houselogic.com.
Have you picked up your Crime Chronicle this week? Crime Chronicle is the Central Arkansas publication for crime-related news. Pick up your copy today at any convenience store or gas station near you. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook/Crime Chronicle.
Don't be a victim. Keep listening to Crime Chronicle Live on KARN 102.9 FM.
Welcome back to Crime Chronicle Live. I'm Val Emmons, your host. And so we've been talking about these 3D guns, and I wanted to talk about it because like a month ago, like I said, the State Department had ordered this gentleman that had created the first plastic gun out of a 3D printer. He called it the Liberator, and you can find out more about that on my Facebook page. Just go to www.facebook.com /Val Emmons. And there's a video, and it's crazy. This gun, I mean, the handle, everything's plastic, and it's in pieces. It's not like it prints out the whole gun itself. It's just all in pieces. And the only piece of it that is metal is the firing pin. It's just a little nail. And it's the blueprints for this gun that was posted. Actually, he made the schematics for the weapon available for free in the week, and it was 2 days before the State Department found it. And And people can go out there. Anyone with a 3D printer could go out there and create their own version of this gun. So all they had to do, they had the schematics. And so the Chuck Schumer said he has plans to introduce legislation that will ban the weapon because they can pass through metal detectors at airports and courthouses without being picked up. So he says they're facing a situation where anyone, a felon, a terrorist, can open a gun factory in their garage and the weapons they make will be undetectable. He said it's stomach churning. But you know what? These people are already getting these guns. If you want to comment on this, and I would like to get y'all's opinion on, how the legislation should be to regulate these guns, because it's going to be crazy. The number is 501-433-0092. Let me hear your thoughts on this, because it's kind of wild. If you look at this, 100,000 people downloaded this in like less than, I'm looking for the time frame on it, but in the 2 days, I know it was like 100,000 people downloaded the blueprints for this gun. Nobody has up till now been able to create a plastic gun, and it's just new technology that we're looking at every day. Things like this, we have to figure out how to regulate, or does it need to be regulated? I mean, yeah, of course it needs to be regulated for safety, especially because these things backfire and they can kill you. I mean, and you don't even know. I mean, it's just like you can't just go out there and make a gun. So we have a caller on the line. Hi, how are you? You there?
Yes. Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. Hey, I can't remember what year it was, but the movie In a Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood, with that guy that made the plastic gun.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I guess Hollywood, or time's finally caught up with Hollywood now. But
I was just thinking that today. A lot of these things that we find are like with the NSA and listening to our phone conversation, all these things that are happening now, and people are just like, oh, that'll never happen. It's just movie stuff. But most of the time, these things are based. People see it in a movie and they're like, oh, well, I could go and try to create that.
Oh yes, and that's the funny part. The movie today, what happens today is going to happen about 4 or 5 years down the road.
Yeah,
so.
and it's people just don't have an open mind about these kind of things. They're like, that'll never happen,
No,
but it does, obviously.
Well, I appreciate you. Love the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I was just thinking about that very thing this morning when I was going over in my head this NSA stuff, because if this college that Joe works for wanted to get a court order, go to Verizon or whoever his cell phone company is, find out if it was him that was talking to me, to get back, to find out if he was on the show talking, about the stuff that maybe they didn't want him to talk about. That is so like sci-fi now, that they could actually go and find out who he was talking to and trace it back that way. And that's not why he just didn't want to put himself out there, which I don't blame him, because he might say something wrong, and then he has his job at stake. But these things can happen. Everything that you see in a movie, I mean, somebody's thinking about it, which means somebody back there is figuring out how to make it. And if you look back at all these movies, it's crazy what we're treading into lately. I mean, I think the technology is created to be great. Like this plastic technology, the 3D printing, I mean, it's making medical devices for people. And then somebody figured out how to make a gun out of it. So the defense, I just don't know how we handle this, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. So give me a call, 501-433-0092. But I'm going to move on now, because there's so much going on right now, or that has happened over the past week. Yesterday, the Kroger on West Markham was robbed at around 5:15 in the morning. Little Rock Police Department responded about 5:25. According to the police report, a black man dressed in all black walked into the store armed with a handgun, pointed the weapon at one cashier, and demanded money. They said that they had just gotten finished emptying the bags out. So he took the bags of money that were just sitting up on the U-scan, and he took off with the 6 bags after he pointed the gun at her, and then he put it in another bag and ran down the street on East on Markham. But the thing about it is he had to know he had to know, in my opinion, when they emptied out these machines. So somebody had to have told him that. He had to have been scoping it out for a couple of days or whatnot, because he just walked in, pointed the gun at him, and took the money. He knew. All right, we've got another caller on the line. Hello, how are you today?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, good. This is Steve Ray from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Hi, Steve.
All right. Matter of fact, I manufacture 3D printers.
You do?
And oh, yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
This stuff about the plastic, forget about that. They make all sorts of materials that you can use. It's just that Cody Wilson is using plastic for some reason. I don't know why.
Right.
They've got materials that even can withstand 16,340 pounds per square inch. So you could even make a bunker out of this stuff, and the soldiers would be protected, Oh, yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of manufacturers of materials out there for these 3D printers, and you're just scratching the surface when you're talking about plastics.
And that's why we're talking about it, because people just don't have a clue what's going on with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, President Obama and the senators and representatives all know about this technology. They just don't want to admit it to the American people.
Well, there's a lot of things lately.
It could be really dangerous,
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, anything. I don't think I would want to take the chance on using one after I print it. I don't trust myself to print a gun.
Well, like I said, forget about the plastics. I mean, they got materials that you could use with these 3D printers that you could make, just about anything with them. You're talking about the medical devices. They've made esophagus and a liver, I believe it is, using the own person's cells. So, but rejection is, not even a consideration in that point.
Right, because there's nothing to reject if it's a different.
Right, and all the transplants and all that, well, they're going by the wayside too. You don't have to wait for a donor; just have a 3D printer, create whatever organ that you need.
Like a movie, isn't that crazy?
I know, it's like Star Trek's Replicator. It's here now. People don't realize it, but it's here now.
I'm waiting for another clone of myself to be walking around somewhere, and that is scary. That's truly frightening.
I don't think it'll go that far.
I mean, but that's the thing. We don't know.
I mean, I'm creating a printer called the Monster Bot.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it will build houses. What? It will build highway bridges. It can build, diesel train engine blocks, just about anything that you wanted to build.
Monster Bot.
The Monster Bot. I'll have it out prototypes in 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
And what was your name?
My name is Stephen Ray. My company is called Maristream LLC. Maristream.
Okay.
Go and look at our website, and you'll read all about it.
Wow, that's cool. I will definitely check that out. Maybe I'll have you on again.
No, okay. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Stephen.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a great one. That's so interesting. Let's just see what happens when you just start talking about technology. Things come up that you don't even know about. A monster bot that would build houses and bridges and et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to check that out. Maybe we'll have him back on again. Talk about some stuff. But right now we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Have you picked up your Crime Chronicle this week? Crime Chronicle is the central Arkansas publication for crime-related news. Pick up your copy today at any convenience store or gas station near you. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Crime Chronicle.
It's 84 degrees in Little Rock at 4:30. I'm Mike Kemp in the KARN News Center. State regulators are disciplining the former medical director of the Little Rock Veterans Home for allegedly overprescribing drugs with potentially harmful or addictive effects. The Arkansas Medical Board reprimanded Dr. Lee Nails after he told the panel the prescriptions were written by a physician assistant who no longer works for him. Board members found Nails responsible because he supervised the physician assistant. Nails' contract as medical director at the Little Rock Veterans Home was not renewed last year after inspections found patient care violations. Did former State Treasurer Martha Schaffner commit perjury when she testified before the Legislative Audit Committee? Committee co-chairman Senator Brian King of Green Forest has told members some of that testimony is being transcribed for their review. Fox 16's David Goins reports for KARN News.
Schaffner's testimony while she was still treasurer that happened last fall back when legislative audit asked her to come forward to talk about some of the unusual accounting that was going on in the treasurer's office at the time, which we know was the seed that yielded FBI investigation and her resignation in criminal prosecution this spring.
During her testimony, she was asked if she had ever taken payments from a bond broker in exchange for business from the treasurer's office. Her answer was no then, but she since admitted she did. Goins says where it goes from here isn't clear, but any charges of perjury would have to come from Pulaski County Prosecutor Larry Jegley's office. He says Prosecutor Jegley isn't commenting on the case. A warning has been sent out by the Arkansas Sheriff's Association. There's a possible scam involving phone calls soliciting cash. To help the families of Game and Fish Commission Officer Joel Campora and Scott County Sheriff Cody Carpenter, who died in a swiftwater rescue last week. Dallas County Sheriff Donnie Ford was the person who got the call and realized it was phony when the caller said he was collecting for the Arkansas State and local police associations. Ford says no such organization even exists. I'm Mike Kemp, KARN News Radio, 102.9 FM on air, online, KARNnewsradio.com.
Well, it's going to be a nice evening for us here, but showers and thunderstorms are on the way. Tonight, 65 for your overnight low temperature with a partly cloudy sky. Tomorrow, 50% chance for showers and storms as a frontal boundary moves its way through for the afternoon hours. 82 for your afternoon high temperature tomorrow. And for your tomorrow night, 69, that will be your overnight low temperature, warming back up into the 90s as we look into next week. On the Fox 16 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Natalie Walters with your KARN News Radio Update.
Local restaurants, shops, salons, and more with savings of 50 to 90% every time. Live more, spend less. Download the mobile app now.
Now that's a real sweet deal.
Sweetjack.com.
Hi, this is Val Emmons. Do you have a business? Are you part of a nonprofit? Do you want to reach tens of thousands of loyal and informed consumers? Well, advertising on this radio show is more effective and affordable than you could ever imagine. Please call me 870-897-7716 or email me ccvalemmons@gmail.com to learn how you can have your business or organization's message heard on Crime Chronicle Live. That number again is 870-897-7716. Give me a call today.
Pick up your copy of the Crime Chronicle today because you have a right to know.
And we are back on Crime Chronicle Live, and I'm Val Emmons, your host. So, on Friday, the Rupert Murdoch aide that was accused of hacking into UK phone lines of celebrities and political people. She was the high-profile trial of Rebecca Brooks, a key aide to media mogul Rupert Murdoch, on charges stemming from Britain's phone hacking scandal will start on September 9th. This was decided on Friday. And I find this particularly interesting because here we have the government here in the United States, which, okay, everyone knows that this was huge. This Rupert Murdoch, this caused his company to go under, okay, because he was wiretapping on celebrities and politicians' cell phones, which our government is doing to us now, and we do nothing. You prosecute this guy who was hacking into a few people's, because they're celebrities and politicians' phone lines, but our government is listening, and I don't care what they say. I do not care what they say. They know how to get your phone to find out who it is. They're saying that it's just the metadata that they're collecting. Obama yesterday was defending this, saying that we're not listening to your communications. We don't know who you are. That's baloney. Because if they are bothering to collect the data, then they know whose data it is. And this is just disturbing that we prosecute the media people for doing this, but we do nothing to our own government, but sit on the couch and rant on Facebook about it. This letter, I want to read this because it's kind of funny. This is not, I want to say in advance that it's pretty hilarious and it's not true, but this was on the New Yorker and the Borowitz report. I'm going to post this on my Facebook later, so I want to read it to you. It's today President Obama issued the following letter to all Verizon customers. Dear Verizon customers, yesterday it came to light that the National Security Agency has been collecting millions of phone records from you each and every day. Since that news was released, many of you have called the White House with questions and concerns about this new program. To save my time and yours, here are answers to 3 of the facts we've been hearing from you. Will I be charged extra for this service? I'm happy to say that the answer is no. While the harvesting and surveillance of your domestic phone calls were not a part of your original Verizon service contract, the National Security Agency is providing this service entirely free of charge. Number 2, if I add a phone line to my account, will those calls be monitored? Once again, the answer is good news. If you want to add a child or another family member to your Verizon account, their phone calls, whom they called, when, and the duration of the call will be monitored by the United States government at no additional cost. Question number 3, can the National Security Agency help me understand my Verizon bill? Unfortunately, no. The National Security Agency has tried but failed to understand Verizon's bills. Please call Verizon customer service and follow the series of electronic prompts. I hope we've helped clear up some of the confusion about this exciting new program. But if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to call the White House. Joe Biden is standing by. God bless America, President Obama. Now, is that not hilarious? I think that about sums it all up. And if this wasn't so serious, I would be laughing. But this, oh my gosh, I can't believe we are actually not. We're going to let this one go. The IRS is just going to skim by. Everything is just going to be shoved under the rug, and nobody's going to wake up and do anything about it. Because as I was told on Thursday by a caller that disagreed with me to impeach Obama, we will be stuck with Joe Biden if that happens. Now, I don't have a problem with being stuck with Boehner, if we impeached Biden, because he's part of this too, because, he's kind of, I don't know. But I just think that we need to step up and do something about it, because this is very disturbing. I was reading an article today, the Daily Beast, and there's an article on there that I'm also going to post that says it's called How to Keep the NSA at Bay, the Tricks from Privacy Experts. There's a lot of things that you can do, but in this article, there's also some very disturbing things that I found. Let me get back to one of them. I'm going to tell you about it. It's called My Shadow. It's a website. It's myshadow.org. Myshadow.org. And there you can go to your website. Their website. You click on that website and you can put in, this is the technology that I'm using. If I'm using my phone, if I'm using a computer, this is and it'll show you everything that the government has access to. It is quite disturbing. Very disturbing. So if you go to my website, my Facebook page, you can Google me, Val Emmons, and it should pop up. I'm going to put this on there, and it's very troubling to know that these are the things that they can trace you with, and they're just blowing it off like it's nothing. And so I want to hear your thoughts on it. Everyone's been talking about it, I know, but there's just so much to this that people don't understand. And you can call in and give me your thoughts on it, or if you have something you want to add to the conversation, 501-433-0092, and the phone lines are open. But I just want you to be aware that if you are just using your mobile phone, let's pick Android, which I'm going to pick Android. They have access to the date and time that you made a phone call, your email address and who you're emailing, your geolocation, the identification card on your phone, your phone number. So you can't tell me they don't know who you are. They have your phone number, your SMS and text messages, your voice calls, the language you're using and who you're talking to. So information about your online account through your Android phone would be your Android apps, your photos. Yes, your photos. Your videos, your third-party applications, and then information about your digital devices, your operating system, your phone manufacturer, your IMEI number, and your pre-installed applications and version numbers. So the frightening part is your photos and your videos. Yes, they can watch you. And the thing about it is they know where you took them, when you took them. They know where you're eating at because they can see where you're at. If you're eating at Burger King, that's where you're at. So what comes around to your health, when it comes around to health insurance, are they going to go to your phone records and say, hey, you're eating at McDonald's too many times a week. You need to stop. I mean, it can get that ugly. And people don't realize that. They don't realize how serious this is. Yeah, they can't listen to your phone calls, but I don't even think that's the scary part. I don't think there's more information in everything else than there is in my phone conversation. There's more information in my phone than there is just listening to the conversation. And I just want to repeat that. So you can go there. There is also another good article on the Daily Beast that talks about the NSA surveillance program. It says NSA surveillance program explained. Here's why we're freaking out. People are freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm not really freaking out because I knew this kind of stuff was going on. I've said it all along. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that's why they're giving away all these free cell phones nowadays, because they want everyone to be under surveillance. So they're giving all these poor people, or not poor people, but people that are, having 30 different phones. Maybe they're confusing the Obama administration by having 30 different phones. Anyway, so this week, The Guardian informed us of a top-secret government order approved by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court required that Verizon hand over millions of American phone records to the National Security Agency. People started freaking out. Then the Washington Post reported that not only has the government been keeping an eye on whom we call, when, and how long we talk to them, but it's also been tapping into the servers of 9 major U.S. internet companies and collecting emails, photos, videos, documents, and other user activities. Then people really freaked out. All this freaking out is making it hard to decipher what exactly is happening and what it means. So let's take a look and break it down, so what we know so far. Since when was the government been collecting phone records? On April 25th, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court approved a top-secret order requested by the National Security Agency. The order requires Verizon, one of the largest telecommunications companies in the country, to hand over records of all its customers, phone calls, both within the U.S. and to other countries, and regardless of whether they're suspected of wrongdoing, on an ongoing daily basis. The daily basis part's what got me. Daily basis. So who are they paying, and what monies? I mean, how many tax dollars are going towards collecting this data and storing it and archiving it? And so how many people are we paying to spy on us is my question. Anyway, so is someone listening in on your conversation? No. The order demands the phone numbers and location data for both parties on the given call, its duration, and the time it was made. But the content of the conversation is not included. That's BS. That is BS. You cannot tell me they're not sitting there listening to our conversations and keywords. We know that goes on a regular phone, much less a cell phone. They wouldn't be collecting the data if they had no way to know who it was. Anyway, so let's move on. Well, I don't have Verizon, so am I okay? No, not necessarily. Verizon is the only company that's explicitly been implicated so far. But according to a Wall Street Journal report, people familiar with the NSA's operations said the initiative also encompasses phone call data from AT&T and Sprint Nextel. So what about your internet history? That's another thing. According to the Washington Post, the NSA and FBI also have been obtaining photographs, emails, documents, videos, and connection logs directly from servers of Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, YouTube, and Apple. This program, also top secret, is codenamed PRISM, and technically meant for spying on foreign targets. But that doesn't mean Americans using these U.S.-based internet servers aren't exempt from the snooping. According to the Washington Post, the search items, or selectors, in quotes, used to determine foreignness are only 51% accurate, so content from the U.S. also may be collected. Now, if you're going to collect this data and go to all these links, get a warrant, keep it top secret, you're going to tell me you're not listening to my conversations. Baloney. Did all these tech companies willingly participate in this PRISM program? That's not totally clear. So initially, the Washington Post reported that the 9 companies mentioned did participate knowingly, but after they all publicly denied having any involvement, the Post has removed that phrase from the article and added a new paragraph suggesting that the companies themselves may not have provided the NSA with direct access to data. And why exactly is the government doing this? To protect us, is what Obama says. We have to make these changes and sacrifices to our freedoms so that we can protect you. You mean protect us like you did in Benghazi? Protect us like that? I'm sorry, this just makes me outrageously mad. And But the problem is that people are going to sit there and the sheep that follow these people are going to sit there. Oh, okay, it's to protect us. And then they'll just let it fade away and call us all conspiracy theorists. Well, I hate to tell you people, but there's more coming down the path. Anyway, so the government says it's going to protect us. Obama defended the phone collecting, and National Intelligence Director James Clapper on Thursday condemned the leak of the classified order, insisting that it was done out of the necessity to preserve national security. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Rogers also said a domestic terror attack was thwarted as a result of the program, though he didn't offer any other details. So are other countries involved? That's another question. On Friday morning, the Daily Beast reported that the UK's security agency, GCHQ, has been providing access to the same internet company's user content via Prism since at least June of 2010. So what does President Obama have to say about all this? Yesterday at his press conference, Obama defended the order, saying it caused modest encroachments on privacy, kind of like the IRS and Obamacare is going to intrude upon your privacy. Anyway, and on the collection of records, my assessment was that they help us prevent terrorist attacks. He also stressed that no internet data was collected from U.S. citizens or people living in the United States. Yeah, because he's so on it knows everything that's going on in his own administration, much less knowing about what was collected. I also want to know is there background checks done on people that are collecting your data? Because there's so much information in your data that on you. Think about it. They have your IRS data. They're going to have your healthcare data. And now they have your phone record data. They have everything that you do. They know more about you than you do. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll finish this conversation. Have you picked up your Crime Chronicle this week? Crime Chronicle is the Central Arkansas publication for crime-related news. Pick up your copy today at any convenience store or gas station near you. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Crime Chronicle.
Now's the time.
Now's the time to make a difference.
Now's the time to take a stand.
To get involved.
To make a change.
Now's the time to raise a hammer and drive a nail.
To build a wall.
And open a door to a new life.
Now's the time to help Habitat for Humanity build hope and change lives with a family in your community or around the world.
Now's the time.
Now, more than ever, help build it.
Visit Habitat.org.
Don's Weaponry has been taking care of sportsmen for over 20 years. At Don's, you have a huge selection of new and used pistols and rifles, police trade-ins, holsters, scopes, ammo, reloading supplies, magazines, and more. 6,000 square feet of inventory, including a 7-lane pistol range open 7 days a week. Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Ruger, Kimber, Springfield Armory, Glock, Walther, and more. Stop by Don's Weaponry, 4116 East Broadway in Rose City for everything the hunter and shooter needs.
Summer is here, and Leaf Guard of Arkansas welcomes it with a grand summer sale. And the centerpiece of the sale is a gutter rebate, up to $650 off a whole house job. This is your chance to get the only one-piece, leaf-free covered gutter on the market and get up to $650 off with your rebate. Call Leaf Guard of Arkansas today at 1-800-LEAF-GUARD.
Lately, people have been getting back to what's really important, returning to the essential. And what's more essential than water? It's the first ingredient in nearly every product we use. It's a vital element of our daily lives, and it's the original source for refreshment and hydration. So let's celebrate the essential. Let's celebrate water. For more information about water, visit drinktap.org. This message brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
Hi, this is Val Emmons. Do you have a business? Are you part of a nonprofit? Do you want to reach tens of thousands of loyal and informed consumers? Well, advertising on this radio show is more effective and affordable than you could ever imagine. Please call me 870-897-7716 or email me ccvalemmons@gmail.com to learn how you can have your business or organization's message heard on Crime Chronicle Live. That number again is 870-897-7716. Give me a call today.
You're listening to Crime Chronicle Live with your host, Val Emmons.
And we are back for the last 10 minutes of the show. I'm going to keep on going about this NSA because I'm just so frustrated about it. And there are ways that you can keep the NSA at bay. There's tricks from the privacy experts article that I just put on my Facebook page. You can go there, look at Valerie Emmons on Facebook and add me. And you can also find all these other things that we've talked about today. But this article it's a really good article. I'm going to read a little bit of it. It starts out by saying it's a fairly safe bet that most people are in one of four camps about all this national security agency spying on American business. They're either uninformed, apathetic, PO'd, we all know what that means, or paranoid. For the uninformed, it's probably a good time to get up to speed. Before you know it, Barack Obama will personally be hiding in your closet. I love that part, if he's not there already. For the apathetic, dude, wake up. You think because you live in the suburbs and you work at an insurance company that Big Brother will never come for you? What about that affair with your office secretary last year? What if her brother gets caught up in some kind of sting operation and they check his phone records and then her phone records and then police show up at your door asking why you called her 50 times last week while your wife is sitting in the living room? What if they transpose a digit or two and mix you up with a suspect terrorist and break down your door in the middle of the night and shoot your dog? Okay, never mind. Just flip back to The Bachelor. Love that because I'm so sick of people not knowing what's going on, but they know who's got kicked off American Idol this week. I mean, come on. Okay, so for those of you who are either PO'd or paranoid, it's time you understand that there are plenty of ways to cloak yourself from Uncle Sam, especially if they're not already parked in a white van outside your apartment building. If that's the case, say even the most clever privacy advocacy, you're probably screwed. But wait, you hardly ever use the internet. Your digital trail is pretty tiny. So skip over to the My Shadow. That's what I've told you about a while ago, the My Shadow. That's pretty frightening. So if you believe that that's all nonsense, go check that out. There you can find out exactly what kind of shadow your computer and mobile phone usage casts. It's pretty scary and fascinating. I must agree. It really is. So go to my Facebook page to check that out. Or go to their page, whichever. For those of you who still understandably freaked out, if you just want to avoid getting caught up in the dragnet, having your phone, email, searched history handed over by some spineless attorney at Verizon or Google or Facebook, there are ways to hide it from Uncle Sam. You can encrypt yourself. If you're using Facebook and Gmail in the same fashion that most of us do, you got to wrap it up, they say. So you got to get to know E2E, end-to-end encryption. So there are some great places. Let's see, I'm going to find it so I can give it to you. Silent Circle is a global encrypted communications company where you can encrypt all of your out-circle access. You can encrypt your network. You can encrypt your team. And you can it allows you to send text messages of that nature and make phone calls and be online without anyone being able to read your communications. I'm not quite sure how much it costs. I'm just getting into looking at it myself, so maybe we can talk about more about that next week when I do some more research on it. But you can check it out. You can go to silentcircle.com, and if you're worried about your privacy, there is a way to fight this. There is a way to keep them from getting your data, and I think it's most important for us to fight back. The government is overreaching on this, and it's not just this administration. The previous administration enacted the Patriot Act, which this is going off of. It's just that it's being interpreted a little bit different. And even two Democrat senators stated when this came to light this week that they had concerns previously about this. And I think that when it's not just Republicans or Democrats, it's all of us in this. We are all being infringed upon. And it is not a political party issue. This is an American issue. And we need to address it as such, and not point fingers at who or where. But like I said, we just gave Rupert Murdoch, pretty much hung him for infringing upon some freedoms in another country. Because we were concerned about him doing that here in the States as well. And how are you going to hang him for it but not do anything about your federal government? I mean, come on, people. Wake up. Wake up. Get off of your boob tube. Stop watching American Idol and start doing research on this. Find out what's going on in this country, because if you don't wake up, the country's going to fall hard. I mean, it's only a matter of gosh, I don't even want to know what's going to happen in 3 years. It's frightening. It's frightening. The things that this administration's getting away with is frightening. And it's a crime, in my opinion. So some things real quick. I'm going to run through some things that happened over the week. Told you that Kroger was robbed on West Markham yesterday morning. And the frightening thing about that to me is that my son works at Kroger. He doesn't work at that particular Kroger, but I actually called the manager and I asked him, I said, is everyone being trained on what to do if or when this would ever happen? Because I'm scared to death that my son, because he would play the hero. I know he would. He would, and I've told him, their money is not worth your life. So that stuff's insured. You're not, you can't come back from death. So go ahead and let him have the money. That's what I would do. But I'm not sure. We'll find out what they're going to go over all that stuff with him again. And actually, his friends work at Kroger. So if something were to happen to any of those, that would probably devastate our family, because we have a lot of people that we know that work there. And if it's going to be this easy to go in and just steal the money, I hope that it doesn't become a regular occurrence. But they're working. He assured me that they're working there at Kroger to make sure everyone is up to speed on how to handle this particular situation if it ever happened. And then also, UALR employee was attacked and beat up this week in broad daylight as he was walking to his car that was parked off campus. And so what they told people to do is nod. You can scare someone off by nodding at them. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. You can't scare someone off from nodding at them and looking them directly in the face when they're about to rob you. Are you serious? The only thing you can do is to not put yourself in that situation and, learn how to defend yourself. But, you can't carry a gun on UALR. But they expect that incoming freshmen who are 18 years old, which most of them, at 18 you can't conceal carry anyway. But if you live on campus, you're not allowed to have a gun. So that means that nobody who lives on campus can have a weapon in their home. So that's kind of frightening to mandate that incoming freshmen who go to the school have to live in the most dangerous part of our city. I think it is the most dangerous part. I, as a parent, would not allow my child to live there. I wouldn't even allow him to go to the school. I mean, that's getting bad, and I hate to say that, but it is. That's just my take on it. There's a lot of other places I wouldn't allow him to go because of the dangers of it. I mean, the kid was found last week in a ditch or in the creek, dead. I mean, Forrest Abrams died less than a month ago. In the same, not in that particular, not on the school, around the school, but in that area in Southwest Little Rock. And people are really sick of the crime, and I think that something needs to be done about it. We have our mayor and city council getting raises. They're asking to be compensated for more money, but our crime just keeps going up. What's being done about that? Why are you not getting hard on the crime? I understand that people live in these apartment complexes. You can't blame it all on that, though. You can't blame it all on the apartment complexes, Mayor Stodola. You can't do it. And I challenge you. Do something about this crime. Get hard, get tough on these criminals. Find them. And, they did this week. There were a federal indictment went out for 6 different people who were responsible for some of these other robberies that happened over the last year. But there's still robberies taking place. Well, that's all I have for today. Went fast today. Sorry about that. I hate to leave, but got to go. Don't be a victim. Take care of yourself. Be aware of your surroundings. And I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Central Arkansas's only radio show on crime.
This is the voice of Arkansas. News Radio 102.9 FM KARN, Sheridan, a Cumulus station.
From ABC News, I'm Daniela Bellotta. The Santa Monica police shooting spree. Police say that it was a planned attack.
Anytime someone puts on a vest of some sort, comes out with a bag full of loaded magazines, has an extra receiver, has a handgun, and has a semi-automatic rifle, carjacks folks, goes to a college, kills more people, and has to be neutralized at the hands of the police, I would say that that's premeditated.
Santa Monica Police Chief Jacqueline Seabrook says the gunman killed by cops was armed with a semi-automatic rifle and 1,300 rounds of ammunition. 4 people were killed. 1 is in grim condition. A demolition equipment operator police say was high when a Philadelphia building collapsed, killing 6 people, has turned himself in. Sean Bishop faces half a dozen charges of involuntary manslaughter. President Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping tackling some touchy subjects today, as we hear from ABC News senior national correspondent Jim Avila in Palm Springs.
No longer are these two superpowers